was a response to the lack of response on the part of the administration or DOD. So the handful of CIA officers that we had, in great frustration, we began the discussion of, okay, we find him again, we will have to engage ourselves, and we'll have to do it right then, right there.
Crumpton pointed out, though, that the CIA was never able to get a predator shot at bin Laden, even after agents shadowed his career to the house in Abbottabad, where he was killed a year ago by U.S. Navy SEALs.
Is it conceivable to you that the Pakistani leadership did not know that Osama bin Laden was on Pakistani soil, being sheltered there?
I would be surprised if some leaders, particularly in the military, were not aware of his presence there.
And not just not aware, but facilitated it.
Yes.
Even with bin Laden dead, Crumpton warns that Al-Qaeda and its affiliates, including Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, remain a potent danger to the U.S. homeland.
They still pose a threat. I'm particularly concerned about Al-Qaeda in Yemen, which is fractured as a nation state. The Sahel, if you look at Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, they pose a threat. And in Somalia. Those are the places I'd be concerned.
Hank Crumpton is one of the most seasoned and accomplished CIA officers of his generation. That's why, after his success directing the agency's Afghanistan campaign, the CIA chose him to become chief of its National Resources Division, one of the smallest but most sensitive secret operations of the clandestine service. You probably don't know this, but the division has covert CIA offices across the United States.
A particular U.S. company can provide cover for a CIA officer who is deployed overseas. A U.S. executive who's traveled abroad can come back and agree to a debriefing from the CIA. A foreign institution may have a relationship with an American institution, and that might be a pathway for the CIA to acquire foreign intelligence.
Doesn't that go against the public perception of what the CIA was tasked with doing? I mean, under your charter, most people think of the CIA's responsibilities as lying outside of America's borders.
Yes, I agree. I think many Americans view it that way. The CIA's responsibility in the U.S., though, is very specific. While inside the U.S., the mission is exclusively and totally focused on the collection of foreign intelligence.
So you can recruit foreign agents on U.S. soil?
Yes.
Clandestine CIA officers also run so-called technical operations against enemy spies in the U.S.
You can eavesdrop, you can bug, you can intercept their communications.
But you can't do that to Americans?
Absolutely not. Again, the focus of the National Resources Division is the collection of foreign intelligence that happens to be inside the U.S.
What about counterintelligence?
It's a critical issue. If you look at the threat that is imposed upon our nation every day, some of the major nation states, China in particular, very sophisticated intelligence operations, very aggressive operations against the U.S. I would hazard to guess there are more foreign intelligence officers inside the U.S. working against U.S. interests now than even at the height of the Cold War.
Hank Crumpton has written a book about his life as a spy because he thinks the role of intelligence is misunderstood, and the CIA has often been misused by presidents and policymakers of both parties. He wants to set the record straight. And his book, The Art of Intelligence, will be published tomorrow. In it, he tells how he learned about insurgency firsthand from African rebels. He learned about blood feuds from Afghan tribal leaders, and he learned that Al-Qaeda terrorists and enemy agents from North Korea all seem to share a particular weakness.
I never met a North Korean that did not like pornography.
Is there a lot that goes on in the world of espionage as a CIA officer that surprised you?
Every day was something different. Every day there was not only an operational judgment, there was a moral judgment. Is this the right thing to do?
For example, supplying porn to North Korean diplomats.
Right. Supplying porn to North Korean official to entice them to spy for America, along with money or whatever else it might take? Well, for me, the answer was yes. I was willing to do that.
He hasn't been a covert operator since 2005. That's when he became the coordinator for counterterrorism at the State Department, with the rank of ambassador. But we noticed Hank Crumpton still has the tics, the habits and reflexes of a man who's always aware of his situation, eyes sweeping the area and looking over his shoulder.
What makes a good spy?
I think that you have to have an intense intellectual curiosity. I think also it requires a willingness to deal with ambivalent situations, a certain degree of creativity, physical courage.
Are you a good spy?
Yes, I was a good spy.
Are you still a good spy?
No, I retired, and that was more than 7 or 8 years ago now.
They say you never really retired from the CIA.
Oh, I retired all right.
CBS Money Watch Update, sponsored by Pradaxa.
Good evening. 3 executives at J.P. Morgan Chase are now being ousted in the wake of risky trades that cost the bank at least $2 billion. Yahoo CEO Scott Thompson will step down amid a continued controversy over trumped-up credentials on his resume. And gas prices are down 5 cents in the past week. I'm Jeff Lohr, CBS News.
When I found out my regular heartbeat put me at 5 times greater risk of stroke, my first thoughts were about my wife and my family. I have the most common type of atrial fibrillation, or AFib. It's not caused by a heart valve problem. I was taking warfarin, but my doctor put me on Pradaxa instead to reduce my risk of stroke.
In a clinical trial, Pradaxa, dabigatran and tixolate mesylate reduced stroke risk 35% better than warfarin. And unlike warfarin, with Pradaxa, there's no need for regular blood tests.
That's really important to me.
Pradaxa can cause serious, sometimes fatal bleeding. Don't take Pradaxa if you have abnormal bleeding, and seek immediate medical care for unexpected signs of bleeding, like unusual bruising. Pradaxa may increase your bleeding risk if you're 75 or older, have a bleeding condition like stomach ulcers, or take aspirin, NSAIDs, or blood thinners, or if you have kidney problems, especially if you take certain medicines. Tell your doctor about all medicines you take, any planned medical or dental procedures, and don't stop taking Pradaxa without your doctor's approval, as stopping may increase your stroke risk. Other side effects include indigestion, stomach pain, upset, or burn.
Pradaxa is progress.
Having AFib not caused by a heart valve problem increases your risk of stroke. Ask your doctor if you can reduce your risk with Pradaxa.
For more, go to cbsmoneywatch.com. Life moves fast. We're often so busy dealing with what's in front of us that we lose sight of the big picture. That's why it's good every now and then to pause. Take a new look at your financial plan and make sure you're headed in the right direction. For more than 140 years, Pacific Life has been offering integrated solutions that help to create a secure financial future. Ask a financial professional about Pacific
Scores of charter schools have popped up all over the U.S., all sharing some common features. Most of them are high-achieving academically. They stress math and science. And one more thing, they're founded and largely run by immigrants from Turkey, who are carrying out the teachings of a Turkish Islamic cleric, Fethullah Gulen. He's the spiritual leader of a growing and increasingly influential force in the Muslim world known as the Gulen Movement, with millions upon millions of disciples who compare him to Gandhi and Martin Luther King. Gulen promotes tolerance, interfaith dialogue, and above all, he promotes education. And yet he's a mystery man. He's never seen or heard in public. And the more power he gains, the more questions are raised about his motives and the schools. Hi, everyone. Hi. This is the Harmony School in Houston, part of a rapidly expanding chain of 36 charter schools in Texas. They serve mostly underprivileged students, and they all emphasize math and science.
Inside, there's an elastic collision between the gas particles.
What this is a static electricity generator.
Classwork stresses hands-on experiments and competitiveness. Students made this hovercraft out of leaf blowers for a science contest. Being a charter chain means they're public schools, costing taxpayers nearly $150 million a year.
So you don't even have a driver's license yet?
Well, I have a robotics license.
Julie Norton is an administrator with the Harmony chain of schools.
So we have about 20,000 students.
Is there a waiting list?
Yes, we have a waiting list. We have approximately 30,000 students on our waiting list. We have more students on the waiting list than we actually have enrolled in the school.
The education here gets high marks as students get state-of-the-art technology and extensive one-on-one tutoring.
You get excited to come to school?
Yeah.
The enthusiasm is hard to miss, as is the fact that many of the teachers are Turkish, some just recently arrived, and hard to understand.
When did you get here to the United States?
Ya iba a recibir los 3 en mi curso conmigo.
There are a total of about 130 charter schools like Harmony,